Hello. We're reading from, I got my book open already, ready to go. Reading from America the Farewell Tour by Chris Hedges. I have two more books lined up for the next reading. And I like Chris Hedges. I think he's good. I think he's honest. He's linked in with reality. I don't know what he's voting now that his friend Cornell is running independent, and he I think is affiliated with the Greens. So I'll be interested to see who he votes for. But I think he's usually right on when it comes to these things. The America that you knew is gone. The America that we knew is gone. We know that in a lot of ways. And I actually started something online called Vision, where I'm putting forth a vision for what the society looks like. Not just at the I guess you call it the superstructure level, or at the but what it looks like on the ground. Right? So look for that. I think I'm going to continue to put that, and I think I post those on free MI using my Instagrams and things like that. Let's get into chapter 5. Hate. We got to deal with it. It's a lot of hate, a lot of bitterness. You hear me say that all the time, and I don't think that's taken into account enough. So starts with a quote. Let's just go to the reading. Dylann Roof fired 77 shots from his .45 caliber Glock pistol at parishioners attending a Bible study at the Black Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. Most of you probably remember that. Nothing new happens all the time. Matter of fact, if you're in the South, lynchings are still happening. But you have to really know what you're looking for when you're reading to really cipher them out. And they don't really report them a lot, right? But to me, if you read the history, it sticks out at you. Black male found dead in the park. It's usually lynching. They usually don't say how, what, if he was on a tree, hanged or whatever. There was even one story when I was in South Carolina where they blamed him. They said it was a suicide, which is classic. How the lynching stories went. He murdered 9 of them. Roof, 21 at the time, was an alienated, poor, uneducated white man who dropped out of school in the 9th grade. Always give them grace. When we kill, we're just violent predators. When they kill, poor, uneducated, on and on and on. He was groomed on racist conspiracy theories on the internet, social media, and white supremacist chat rooms, and at Confederate heritage sites and slavery monuments to become a killer. The event that truly awakened me was the Trayvon Martin case. He wrote in his 2,500-word manifesto about the unarmed 17-year-old boy shot in Florida by George Zimmerman. That was posted on his website, thelastRhodesian.com. The site also had 60 pictures, a few of which showed him wearing a number 88 t-shirt. H is the eighth letter of the alphabet, and 2 H's or 88 are shorthand among neo-Nazi for Heil Hitler. This is the kind of ridiculous thing that it's amazing. I kept hearing and seeing his name, and eventually I decided to look him up, he wrote of Martin. I read the Wikipedia article, and right away I was unable to understand what the big deal was. It was obvious that Zimmerman was in the right, but more importantly, this prompted me to type the words black on white crime into Google, and I have never been the same since that day. The first website I came to was the Council of Conservative Citizens. Council of Conservative Citizens, the CC. Bitch, it's just like the KKK. I mean, these people just, they're ridiculous. But this is what we are. And I'm sure there's people on the council of conservative citizens that are on city councils, state representatives, and all that. I'm sure. There were pages upon pages of these brutal black on white murders. I was in disbelief. At this moment, I realized that something was very wrong. How could the news be blowing up the Trayvon Martin case while hundreds of these black on white murders got ignored? He explained his grammar, syntax, and spelling sometimes incorrect, and that he researched deeper and found out what was happening in Europe, which he called the homeland of white people. The land poor, resource poor land. This is why white people left Europe all the time. They're land poor and resource poor. They need resources. That's why they stole and conquered everything. He wrote, I think it is fitting to start off with the group I have most real life experience with, the group that is the biggest problem for Americans. Niggers are stupid and violent. At the same time, they have the capacity to be very slick. See the insanity? They're stupid, they're violent. But at the same time, they can be slick, so you gotta watch it. It's just classic what fascists do. They dehumanize and superhumanize the enemy at the same time. And my blame for this is the masses. Because if you're a person and you're sitting in your house or wherever we sit, and this kind of stuff appeals to you, then you're just looking for something to be violent to someone. And if you can believe in this, then something's wrong with your mind. By the way, in Visions, I have what to do with people like this. Black people view everything through a racial lens because that's the way the country was built. Actually, you view everything through a racial lens. That's what racial awareness is. It's viewing everything that happens through a racial lens. They are always thinking about the fact that they are black. This is part of the reason they get offended so easily and think that something are intended to be racist toward them. They probably meant to say someone. He probably meant someone. Even when a white person wouldn't be thinking about race. The other reason is the Jewish agitation of the black race. So here you have, he considers us white people and think about everything through the white lens. But black people shouldn't think about it through the black lens. Black people only think about things through a black lens. And beyond, black people don't even think about this kind of stuff until something happens. And even then, we respond, usually black people respond with emotion. But black people aren't thinking much at all. We just lost interest in it because it's tiring and exhausting. I'm doing it. There are a small group of doing it. But the overwhelming majority of black people are not thinking. They're just going through life, trying to have personal experiences, and being emotional. We are. That's a problem, but I talk about that all the time. We need to be more thoughtful again. I'm sorry. I don't care how painful it is, and I don't care who's gonna throw up walls to come and get you. Be thoughtful. We gotta do it. Because this is not working either. But, so here's this guy. He's a young guy. He's twisted up in knots. None of this stuff makes any sense. Everything goes against the last thing. He's white, but the problem is that black people always think about things, the racial things, and white people don't think about race. Well, you do everything from racial things. So Europe is your homeland, all that other stuff. Black people are stupid, but they're slick. You gotta watch them. Also, black people have awareness. Well, if we're stupid, how do we have awareness? Any kind of awareness. Again, we're always with this. We're mentally here and mentally there at the same time. It's madness. This is insanity. But this is what we're dealing with. This is the kind of hate. We'll leave it here and we'll pick up. That next part might be behind the paywall, but we'll pick up there. And my new website's coming along. It's tough trying to build a website now. I'm realizing that they made things more complicated. Years ago, when I did websites and e-stores, I used to put them up quick. But using WordPress, now I'm using WordPress, and it's a problem. It's a real problem. So that should be up. So look for that. It's actually up now, but it's not really finished. I'm still working on it. And it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. I'm just trying to see if I can tweak it, tweak some of the pages, work on the back end, work with this thing. Try not to be hateful and bitter. I'm working on it. You all know, I say I'm honest. When you've been thrown away, bitterness is gonna be there. When you've been thrown away for not really a good reason, I shouldn't say not really a good reason, because the community throws away people all the time for self-loathing reasons or just disinterest, which is really not a good reason. Then of course you're bitter. You're very bitter. And I am conceptual, and I know that my community is insane, but still, the value of what I do is nothing in the Black community, which makes sense. If you're going to decide to be disinterested in thinking and concepts and thought, then thoughtful people are going to be disposable. But it still doesn't mean that there's no bitterness. There's bitterness. And at that point, the bitterness goes deeper, because now you're bitter at your mother and your father, which I am. So a lot of people have bitterness deep, and I'm going to say, work on it. Don't let it eat you up. Don't let it make you hurt someone that doesn't need to be hurt. Yeah, I'm not a violent person, but if you notice what I'm saying, even I know that there's going to be a lot of violence. I'm surprised we made it through. Well, actually, in New York, we haven't made it through the summer without violence. It's been a lot of violence in New York City, and there's a lot of bitterness. Social rage is here, and a social rage event is getting ready to happen. I don't know what's going to tip it over. It could be anything. It could be anything. But be careful. Be safe. Take care of yourself. And if you do have a group that hasn't thrown you away, take care of each other. I have to straighten up my room. I have to hang some pictures again and get some hooks for that. And it's lots going on. Take care. Be safe.